Hey Heather, let's take a quick look at this week 1 assignment 4 drawing that you have in place. I don't actually notice too much of the bleeding occurring, although maybe some of that is reduced with the outline in place and maybe kind of breaking up the edges a little bit more than what we would see if bleeding was occurring. I think, overall they both feel very good. I think I would not in future assignments outline with a black marker. I think if you have a pencil drawing underneath, that really should be more than enough for us in terms of being able to have things being delineated. It just, for me, and really in any drawing situation, outlining shapes and elements just tends to flatten things out too much. And then you run the risk of having this black marker actually bleed, and if you also make a mistake with the marker being black, there's very little you can do about it to fix it. So anytime you can minimize mistakes, I think you really want to try to go that direction. I think with both of these cubes, I will say that you've done a good job of making kind of distinct value changes, having a dark side and having a light in the middle. Although I will also say in both cases that the dark side seems to have been done extremely well with good contrast, but the light in the middle start to mix together too much, and it's very difficult to make a distinction between the two of them. So I think here for this top plane, for the lighter valued side of this cube, you could actually be using the gray that you have underlying this colored pencil, which it looks to be like a 20% gray and can be very light in value. And then what you'll have is a very, very light valued color. You'll have a good solid middle, and then you'll have a darker valued color, and that will all really work together to create three distinct sides, rather than what I feel like right now is one very distinct side and two sides that feel very similar to each other. And this is the case with the colored pencil also. I feel like this front plane and this top plane feel very similar, and the side plane is the only one that feels darker and different from the other two. And this is going to be really important as we move into next week, where we're trying to deal with lighting and creating shapes that feel three-dimensional because of the lighting. And the more values you can create with your markers and your colored pencil in tandem, the more options you have in terms of shading things and making things feel like they're, actual three-dimensional objects. So I think it's something worth kind of practicing, especially with the grays, is working with your 20%, your 40%, your 60 or your 80 in unison, and seeing how you can overlap them, seeing how you can create different situations with them to create basically what we want here, which is lighter, medium, and darker values. I think otherwise it looks good. The perspective feels good. I'm not sure if maybe this was a marker drawing or a pencil drawing you had underneath that you didn't quite want to follow with, but I think maybe that's one slight kind of craftsmanship issue where I think either following with it or trying to erase it before you kind of lay in the marker would be helpful. But overall, I would say it's looking good. Control feels very good. The fill consistency feels very good. Edge quality feels pretty good overall. I don't notice any kind of large areas where things are kind of breaking beyond the border. But get rid of the outline and work a little bit more with trying to get distinct values in place, and then I think you'll be all set from that point forward.